Hiya. Something happened there. I'd recorded a bit and it just went off. Siri comes on sometimes, so I've just turned on flight mode now, and hopefully it'll work okay. This is another late night painting. Today I found some pictures that I took of Ian Mckellan when I painted him in the Sky Arts Portrait Artist of the Year. I took some photographs that day and I came across them today, and I thought actually I'd quite like to revisit that face. Now you can't see his picture on the screen, I know it's really quite dark in here, and I don't know what the iPad is doing, but it's causing you not to be able to see. I can see him, and so hopefully what I do on here will be recognisable. I took a wee while finding the pictures again, and I was doing all sorts of other things, which meant that it's nearly 10 o'clock now, so I'm only going to spend 10 minutes on this, but I lay the foundation in watercolor on this cartridge paper so that I can maybe work into it again tomorrow. So thanks very much for tuning in, and I'll it's all very moody, isn't it? It's so dark. Anyway, hopefully you'll be able to see the picture easily enough. Alright. There was a few photographs of him but I selected this one, which is actually a bit blurry. I'm just going to see if you can see it for 1 second there. See? Before the light balances, you can just about see him. See? Okay, so he was wearing this kind of a beret that I found quite tricky to paint that day, but it's also quite characterful. But this particular photograph is a blurry one, but I like it the best of the three that I have because it shows a kind of this lovely empathy that he seemed to have. There's something very powerful in his eyes in this picture, and I hopefully will find that in my painting. We'll see. He said that day that he was learning lines for something that he was reciting a really long poem that he had to learn off in his head. That's what he was doing, but he sat so incredibly still. Like, I've never seen anyone sit so still. I was a bit worried for him, to be honest. I thought he doesn't have to be that rigid for that long. Now I say rigid, and to be honest, he wasn't rigid. It was a soft kind of alert stillness that I suppose being an actor he would have had to be, able to do that. Stand still, sit still. Still it was a long time. I think he was over an hour in that position, an hour at a time. Okay, so I'm just going to go for the shadows. I don't know why I'm using cartridge paper. It's like I'm deliberately making it hard for myself, and you can't even see what I'm doing. Right, I'm going to go for the shadows in the shadow side of the face using the cadmium red and the sap green. Let's get his ear coming up there. Side of the shadow along the side of the nose, underneath the nose. So you're just seeing watery marks there, aren't you? It's pretty bad. What if I was to just face it down like that? Yeah, that's a bit better. And I put something there. That's okay, isn't it? Alright, so that's the ear, side of the face. Yeah, so the hat was kind of extending out like that. The peak. And then the underside of the nose was there. Mouth. And an indication of the mouth here. If I can kind of make some sort of representation of him before bed, I'd be happy. And I can return to it in the morning maybe. So this is mouth. A little bit of that shadow underneath the lower lip might, I think, help. And it's directly below the shadow on the nose. A bit closer to the line dividing the lips than the nose shadow is. And then there's the line of the jaw here. And it looks to me like it turns about there. It might not even go out that far, actually. More like there. And then there's a change in direction here too. And again, kind of there, like there's the wrinkle underneath the chin, and the chin that run along the same lines. You get me? Like that. Something like that. I don't want that to be too bright because it's lighter. Anyway, that's okay. And then it goes horizontally for a little while here. I'm getting a colour that's a little bit lighter now because we're going up the brighter side of the face, and I'm just going to use cadmium red to print that on. And something like that, and maybe, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing really, to be honest here now. Let me see. Just the shadow under the nose. The other side of the nose is as far over as the corner of the mouth is, where the nose meets the face on that side. And then there's at the distance there, maybe a little bit further before we get to the ear on that side, and the ear is higher up than the nose is. That sticks out there before we get to the lovely light hair, and then there'll be the light where the peak, so the peak comes down a little bit. It's not quite that steep there. Peak for the hat, and then it goes like that. I mean, actually that colour there could be more like a cerulean blue. I could move down to the smaller brush. Where's the blue? I can hardly see the colours here. It's fairly subdued, all of this lighting, in comparison to daytime. I mean, in the morning the light shines in that window all day long, really. It's fantastic. So tomorrow it'll be brighter by far. What was I going to do? I was going to do the edge of the hat where it meets the hair in cerulean blue, because his hair is light, it's white really. And I'm gonna lift that off a little bit. I thought Aaron was locking me out there. It's next door's door being locked. And some of that blue might work as well for the sideburns between the ear and the face. Okay. And then the hat continues. It wouldn't really be blue though, would it? What colour should I do the hat? And it'll come down here a bit more too. So that won't all be ear there, that'll be hat and then ear beyond it. So the ear beyond it I'll give a bit of warmth to cadmium red, and sap green is normally what I use for the shadows at the beginning. So that's what I've used here, a bit more cadmium red into the mix, and then widening that ear out just to create a bit more distance here. And the lobe of the ear there. Okay. And then I'll just indicate a little bit where I see some warmth in the eye area there as well. And the shadow. And over here for the other eye, I'll get the eyebrow maybe as an indication of the position of that eye. And something for the shadow that's beneath the eye there too. Just to begin locating its position, and that's the lighter side of the face. I don't want there to be too much information, and certainly don't want to be too literal at this stage, but to continue making a surface that I'm inspired to work over. I suppose using the cartridge paper I'm forced to not do too much manipulating of the paint because it doesn't take it. Cartridge paper won't really take much water before buckling significantly. So this is coming down now for the neck. He was wearing those lovely beads and every sort of thing there, and I'm going to paint the neck up to meet the brighter bit here as well. That might actually come up a touch higher than I have it, so a touch higher, and the corner there, it could have a bit more sap green in it, that red. Now that it's underneath, I want it to sit back. Oh, that's blue I'm putting in. I can't tell the cerulean blue from the sap green in this light. There's this is the sap green now again, so just push it up and lift where it meets the chin. Might need to make a slight change in that chin. I'll just do it now actually. I can print off that corner. It just seems a bit too much of a corner. There, that's fine. I'm okay with that run, I think. Now the colour that I'd be inclined to use in the hat, I'll go for the biggest brush. What colour would I be inclined to use in the hat? I think I would go for, if I can find what colours even look like. Maybe I'd use ultramarine blue. This is the 2-inch brush now, so that I'm going to make a bigger mark again. I'll just go with ultramarine blue. I can't really see what the colours are so clearly. So the shadow here where the peak of the hat meets the bulby bit, and it comes up to there. So just an indication of where the shadow of the hat. What's that like? I think that's okay. Just want to kind of indicate the sharpness at the edge too. And I'm okay with that run as well, I think. I'm going to let everything be fairly free and easy for now. Tomorrow I can always rein it in. Surely it'll be dry by the morning. And then there's a darker bit here as well. Gosh, he's got a great face, you know, for painting. I look forward to doing the eyes, but for now I don't think I'll bother, will I? Might indicate a little bit more clearly the eye on this side. Just the beginning of more of the shadows there. And that's the shadow that comes up to meet the upper surface of the lower lid on this side. Just to get it kind of nestling in. Okay, so the rest of this hat now, let me see. It kind of goes horizontally for a while. Probably better using a smaller brush now. A little bit of the ultramarine blue again. The edge of the ear meets the edge of the hat there, so it goes vertically up, not as long as the ear is, but almost. And you remember how I used the cerulean blue on that side for the hair? I think if I use the cerulean blue again on this side, that's not cerulean blue, is it? That's Viridian green. This is the blue. If I use it again on this side, it'll kind of let us know that, okay, this is hair as well. Hopefully. And just leave it like that. I'll go back now to the blue for this ultramarine blue for the hat. And let's see if I'll have more luck explaining it than I did on the day when I was trying to paint him those years ago. 6 years ago, you know. Doesn't feel like 6 years. I remember him being really personable, lovely, you know. He would kind of find the shyest one of the, you know, people who are called runners, where they have to go and get you water and all these different things. They do all the menial tasks. Like, he'd find the quietest one of those and go out for a smoke with her. I remember him doing that with one girl. Like, he would skulk away kind of for a few minutes. I suppose why wouldn't he be? You know, I was thinking that he'd be chatting away normally, like, but sure, why wouldn't he? I suppose the thing I wanted to say was that he had no feeling of self-importance from what I could see anyway. Right, so is that hat working out? It's alright. I mean, I'll need to make some changes to it probably tomorrow, but for now I think it's okay. Maybe I could do the little button at the top there, which sits up and to the right a little bit of the eye. And then there's like these panels, like triangular panels stitched. Don't know if they'll help or not, but my feeling is they might describe the cross section of the hat a little bit, because there isn't much light and shade going on there really. to help me find the form, so maybe that describing it a little bit more with the the topography of the hat a wee bit more might help it to read as three-dimensional, like the sewn lines, I mean. Now where I'm going with the word topography. Right, a bit darker there. Do you know, I feel like I'm kind of almost wanting to stop with it. We could put in a little touch of alizarin crimson. How about that for the pink shoulder? So it comes over to meet the corner of the mouth there. Oh, I nearly put the brush into my tea. I've got some nighttime tea in my cup. It's a very big cup, so I use 2 tea bags. But I fill it twice. I'll fill it before I go up to bed, so it's not such a waste, is it? No, I might put some more cerulean blue there, because the collar, while the shirt itself has pinky stripes, the collar was blue. Don't want that bit of that run going into the collar. I like it to stay separate, that piece there. Probably just use a clean bit of the paper towel. There we are. And the collar, was this the one I was using? I don't know. I just put more paint on it. Really, the collar is there. Yeah, it's okay like that, isn't it? No, what have I made that dark there for? Oh yeah, I suppose the colour is out further on this side. Not sure it's that far out though. Far out, yeah. Excuse me. Right, I'm going to use the cerulean blue again there to describe how the colour meets the ear on this side. And it goes, if it was to continue, the arc of the collar would run through the eye. So it lets me feel like that shoulder is a touch higher, or it's just going in that the collar will be there. That's what I want to say. Ish. Careful not to touch the drip on the ear, because I don't want this colour to read as being dark. I want it to read as being light, really. And I think tomorrow I'll be able to make it lighter, but for now it's just good enough to have the colour. And alizarin for the shoulder again on that side. Now if I was to run if I was to go put an arc through the body to get the shoulders, this one would be slightly higher than the shoulder on the other side. Just because of the way he was sitting. And this is the stitched line. I don't know if it'll help or not, but I'll put it in just to see. And the stitched line there is already emphasized by the line where the paint stops. Might do a final touch there to describe the wrinkle. I think that's gonna be okay. Sometimes you want to be careful with these wrinkles that it's not being too literal, giving too much information where it's not necessary. I'll lighten it up a little bit and just let it be all to play for. If I lift off the water there, it'll just be a very faint indication of that shadow, because the ones that are important really are where the location of the mouth is, and that's got more of an empathy to it, that shadow. It needs maybe to be lifted a bit more, or something different happening there. So I'll just subdue it as much as I can and let it until tomorrow. Yeah. And there's a nice thing happening with his mouth. I'm not sure if I can really get it just now, because it looks to me like it's maybe a wee bit too wet still. What I wanted to do was describe how the lower lip comes up to meet the line dividing the lips there. But I think I might only end up taking away from the shadow of the line dividing the lips. So I'll just wait again for that to dry fully. Yeah, I reckon it's a good time to stop. I'll come out in the morning and see what else to do. Yeah, I think that's okay for now. It's just a bit of fun, really. Revisiting this lovely face. lovely character. So I'll bring you a wee bit closer. I'll take you off that thing. And there is what I've done so far. And I don't know if you can see what's happened. You can't see him really, can you, on the screen? Anyway, I'll show you tomorrow when you can maybe see him as well. Yeah, I know there's quite a bit more to do, and I'm excited to continue. I like the way the watercolor just lets the drops hang there and kind of anchoring down those tones, those shapes that are already there being anchored by the drops is exciting for me. I'm going to see if I can bring this to you so that you can see him on the screen. There, isn't he gorgeous? He's got such a lovely quality to the expression in that. And it's shaky, it's blurry, that one, but I like that better than the others that I've got. I'll show you the others tomorrow when it's better lighting. But that's me for now. Look, I've got my fairy lights on as well. There's fairy lights around. And the cyclamen on the wall. Okay, alright, thanks for joining me so late at night, or if you're seeing this in the morning, good morning. Alright, all the best to you. See you later.